to a group of insolvency specialists at a huge company in the centre of Newcastle. It was as depressing as it sounds. I wore smart suits and big heels, had 1990s blonde streaked hair, and got my acrylic nails refilled every 4 weeks. My main role was trying to think up marketing slogans to promote the company to businesses that were about to go bankrupt. The one highlight was Fridays, where everyone in the department used to pop across the road to the local wine bar for a long boozy lunch before we all staggered back at 6 p.m. for 10 minutes coffee drinking before clocking off for the weekend. Rumour had it that my department also had an account at the lap dancing bar next door. Working in an office was a huge slog. The humdrum 8 a.m. to 6 p.m, office gossip and politics. The fact that in the winter I'd get up in the dark and spend 8 hours under flickering artificial light and then leave in the dark again in the evening. The trouble was that I wasn't sure what I wanted. I didn't enjoy working in an office, but I couldn't see myself doing anything else. I had very little self-confidence and started to compare myself to my friends and their burgeoning careers and increasing pay packet. But I was too shy and uncertain and didn't have the ambition to put in the long hours and endless meetings that a corporate career required. I was also single, after a few relationships that had fizzled out. Everything felt dull and drab and boring, and I felt rudderless and full of self-doubt. Internet dating was in its infancy in the early 2000s, but I decided that I wasn't going to meet anyone on my wavelength in the bars and pubs of Newcastle. Instead, I signed up to a dating site called Dating Direct. I remember being very specific about who I wanted to meet, and searched for men who lived in the countryside, from Northumberland, didn't smoke, and were under 5'8". Trawling through the results, I spotted a picture of Steve. He was wearing the most hideous woolly roll neck and smiling out uncertainly at the camera. Our first date was in the middle of lambing, and I remember trying to pick up 2 newborn lambs, slippery and steaming, out of a freezing paddock in the teeth of a northeasterly gale. Over the next few weeks, Steve and I spent our time huddling in the lambing shed, mucking out pens, grabbing the odd takeaway and pint before rushing back to the farm to check the stock. I was very happy. I loved it all. Steve was just what I wanted. Uncomplicated and straightforward, and deeply connected to his farm and to the countryside. I handed in my notice and gave away my suits. A year later, in 2005, we were married. I moved on to his farm, bringing, as a slightly horrifying wedding dowry, Cyril, the elderly black and white cat, and a small brown grumpy Shetland pony called Gladys that I'd bought off the side of the A1 in a fit of misplaced pity. We all settled in beautifully. Cyril became a proper farm cat, skulking around on hay bales catching mice, and Gladys sank gratefully into life as a small, round field ornament, as Steve calls our less useful animals. I loved walking around the farm, exploring the 200 acres of grassland, woods, crop fields, and old farm buildings. High House Farm is a small patchwork of beautiful rolling countryside, flattish clay fields, a damp 10-acre wood, and 2 little streams called Sparrow's Lech and the Welton Burn. The farm itself is made up of a jumble of 19th century buildings that are built solidly in dark cream and grey sandstone that glows golden in the sunshine. We have some new buildings as well, a modern lambing shed that we call the Top Hemel, plus a rather decrepit open-sided concrete and metal barn that is usually full to the rafters with hay and straw bales. One end of the farm is only 400 yards from Hadrian's Wall, and on a clear day we can see right across the beautiful Tyne Valley.